Hello, I'm Jonathan Dykes, and in this video I'm going to talk about a new association I've started called Green Standard Schools. I'm going to explain why I decided to set it up and outline how it works. But let's start with a little history. Back in 2007, I was working as director of a large language school in Spain, and I decided it was time to start doing something serious to lessen the impact our business was having on the environment. So I started to investigate what organisations offered environmental accreditation, and in the end I decided that the best option was the European Union's Eco-Management and Audit Scheme, or EMAS for short. Now, obtaining EMAS accreditation proved to be rather more challenging than I had anticipated, but we persevered and made it in the end. And as director of the first private language school anywhere to achieve EMAS registration, I was invited to give talks at various international conferences, including a talk at the European Parliament in Brussels during an event called the World Green Design Forum. I explained what EMAS was meant to do and how it worked, and I talked about the need to safeguard future generations using a rather cute photo of my daughter to make the point. Sadly, the impact of my pioneering leadership in environmental sustainability was negligible. Perhaps that's because the environment wasn't such a hot topic back then. But we plugged away, and after 5 years we even received this bronze certificate in recognition of our dedication to the cause. However, as time went by, the costs of maintaining our school on the EMAS register became more of an issue. We had to employ a part-time environmental officer, we had to pay for 2 external audits each year, and it became more and more apparent that the whole system wasn't really designed for small service companies like ours. Then, a couple of years ago, when environmental sustainability started to become more of an issue both in the media and in everyone's thoughts, I had what seemed to be a bright idea. Why not design an environmental accreditation scheme specifically for language schools? I understood the issues, I knew the industry, I knew what people might be able to afford. So I managed to persuade a number of colleagues to help me develop the idea, and that work has led to this presentation of our new association, which, as you know, is called Green Standard Schools. Now, the aims of our association can be summarised as follows. Firstly, we want to lessen the impact that language teaching has on the environment by developing a set of policies and practices that language teaching institutions can adopt and adhere to. Secondly, we want to award accreditation against these policies and practices to providers of language education anywhere. And thirdly, we want to develop a series of pedagogical resources designed to encourage environmental sustainability in language teaching. So how does it work? Well, a school first has to register its interest on our website. The next step is to complete an application form, which is divided into 2 sections. The first section asks for standard data about the school, contact details, range of courses offered, that sort of thing. The second section focuses on the school's current environmental practices. This second section consists of a series of 48 yes-no questions that cover a wide range of environmental areas, as you can see listed here on the slide. Now let's look at a few of these questions in more detail. The first question in the energy section is, do you monitor and record the amount of energy you use in your school? If you answer yes, you then have to demonstrate how you do this. Your evidence could be a simple Excel file listing your energy bills and adding up the number of kilowatts you use each year. The second question is, have you undertaken to reduce your total energy consumption each year? Again, if you answer yes, you're asked to provide evidence of this commitment. Now let's jump ahead to the travel section. Question 30 on the form asks, do you know how many flights your students take each year in order to study with you? Now, we all know that international education involves flights that contribute to global warming, but we obviously don't want to discourage students from coming to study with us. So the way around this is to offset the carbon emissions our international students generate. And the first step in that process is to know how much carbon we're responsible for. And question number 35 on the form is from the teaching and training section and asks, do you systematically include environmental issues in the teaching syllabus of the majority of your courses? Again, if you answer yes, you have to provide evidence. The language teaching industry reaches millions of students all over the world every year. So we have a golden opportunity to discuss environmental issues with a huge number of people and perhaps influence how they think and behave. Each of the 48 questions on the application form generates a score, and the total number of points available is 200. Schools need to obtain at least 130 points in order to be eligible for accreditation. Now, let's quickly summarize the main benefits for schools. Well, first and foremost, Green Standard Schools will be making a serious and verifiable contribution to environmental sustainability, and that should be motivating enough, but there are other benefits. Accreditation should also provide schools with a powerful new marketing tool. So if someone from Spain is thinking of taking an English language course in the UK, for example, they may be persuaded to choose one school over another if one of the schools on their shortlist has environmental accreditation and the others don't. Similarly, it may be easier for schools to recruit and retain key staff if they're able to demonstrate their environmental credentials. And Green Standard Schools will also have access to a range of digital teaching resources specifically designed to help them integrate environmental issues into their classes. Now, like most associations, the more members we have, the more powerful our voice will be. So if you operate a language school, please have a look at our website and think about joining us. The costs are small and the benefits both for schools and for the environment could be significant. That's it for me. Thank you very much for listening.